touched it himself and then threw onto first, but Levin's able to reach on the fielder's choice. Kavanaugh retired, be a runner at first with 2 away.
I mean, that's about as good as you can play it if you're Hartford. Charging that ball as soon as you get it, stepping on the bag, not losing a step, making the throw over to first, just not able to get there in time. That's why we talk about it. So valuable having a guy in Levins right after Kavanaugh who also has that speed and can beat out those pitches, those balls that are thrown onto first.
It's Brock Wilkin, who's 0 for 2, popped out to the catcher his first time around and then flew out to deep left. This field, the site of Wilkins' first home run this season in the CCBL, blasted one over the left field wall in that 11-9 victory for Harwich. A check on the runner by DeFabio. Aaron McKeithen also going yard in that game for Harwich, for ultimately being drafted a few weeks later. Catcher out of UNC Charlotte. Wilkin lays one off just outside. Temperature really starting to drop as these shadows moving in. The sun's setting. The light's now on. That sunlight moving further and further to the right. Really only on the spectators sitting down the right field line. 1-1. Wilkin able to let it go.
Yeah, you want to be careful if you're DeFabio, of course, but don't want to continue to walk guys here. Already one walk in this inning.
Wilkin hits it on the ground. Hartford, another chance. He goes a short way to second, and that will end the inning. So the Mariners unable to add to their 1-0 lead. We go to the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Home half of the 5th from Gov Fuller Field. Colin Casey alongside Tim Foley bringing live coverage of the Harwich Mariners as they visit Falmouth Commodores, leading 1-0. Trey Dombrowski out for his 5th inning of work. And Tim, at this point, it's not really an end in sight to his outing because he has just been outstanding and efficient to boot.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of quick strikeouts, a lot of at-bats where guys are grounding out on the first pitch. And he's just continued to cruise here through 4 innings.
Does fall behind 2-0 here to begin the inning to Anthony Hall, who popped out in his first trip. This time Hall swings and misses. Bourne Braves have taken a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 4th thanks to a Joe Lampe double. They lead over the YD Red Sox, and that is good news if you're a Harwich Mariners fan. That one fouled straight back after YD closed within 2.5 games in the traditional standings yesterday with that 10-3 victory. So the Mariners are able to pick up a win. YD loses. A little more breathing room in that magic number. Starts to dissipate As the check swing, and they say that Hall held up. That'll fill the count.
And that's one of the important things to remember for Harwich is that everything is still well within your control. Plenty of matchups against East teams left. You just go out, handle your business. It's not at the point yet where you need to worry about other guys' games.
3-2, hit on the ground to the right side, booted by Codier. He bobbles it again and can't make the play. Max Codier ranging all the way to his left, able to knock it down, bobbled it, was able to pick it up cleanly for a moment, and then just lost control of it again. So that will be an E4, and the leadoff man is on to begin the inning for Falmouth.
Yeah, we haven't seen that all too much from Codier, at least recently as he's been out in the infield for the Mariners. Unfortunate there for him, could not get a handle on it twice. Bobbled it, picked it up, and then bobbled it once again.
Dombrowski fights back with a fastball to Michael Handel. Grounded out his first time up. Coincidentally, hit that one to Codier. He is way late on the fastball, strike two. That being the 32nd error of the season for the Mariners. The fourth fewest in the CCBL. Weak rounder right to Dombrowski. He'll try to turn two. The throw to Preisner for one. On to first, not in time. Another close play on a turn, but Handel able to beat it out. Hall is retired at second, and there is one down.
And you have to take a look here at how Dombrowski played that. I mean, it was hit right back to him pretty softly, was able to handle it, but he did take his time in throwing down to that second base bag, and so as a result, very tight play at first, and Handel's able to get on safely. So you're still able to retire the lead runner, but you still have a guy on first now.
Michael Curiali to the plate. Doubled down the left field line, dropped one in front of Dylan Phillips, who had to run a long way. Couldn't get there in time. Breaking ball in for a strike. Dombrowski would be eligible for the victory if he's able to get through this inning without giving up a run. Doesn't appear to be any action, though, just yet in the Mariners' bullpen as Curiali fouls one straight back.
Yeah, and understandably so. I mean, that was pitch 56 for Dombrowski. He's still working at a fairly reasonable clip here.
Curiali looking to make something happen here in a Commodores offense that has been quiet. The runner goes, the hit and run is on, and it's down the left field line. Handel rounding second, he's up to third. Curiali caught in a rundown between first and second. They try to go after him. The run's going to score. This game will be tied. The tag is out at second. But the Mariners, you wonder if they might have forgotten about Handel coming in from third. He scores, and an unearned run charged not to Dombrowski. This game tied 1-1.
Interesting decision there. You mentioned it, Colin. As they were worrying about Curiali, who was caught between first and second. I mean, that was probably the best thing that could have happened for Falmouth there, was that you had a guy who was caught between first and second and ended up running around as the runner and Michael Handel came home to score. And now it's a tie game here, despite the runner being tagged out at second.
Definitely a sacrifice made there from Curiali getting in that rundown. Bought Handel just enough time to come in and score. Count 1-1 to the 9-hitter, Michael Bichetti. Popped out his first time up. Got a slow roller to the left side. It is going to roll just foul. Heads up play there from Wilkin.
I mean, that thing stayed fair for quite some time. Just ended up eking foul. Just as it passed that third base bag, was almost at a risk of hitting it.
And not the first time we've seen Brock Wilkin do something like that, and he really pushes the envelope as far as he can, lets it roll, and I think sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and he just assumes it's going to go foul, and that time he was right on the money. The 1-2 from Dombrowski, hit on the ground again towards Wilkin. This one is fair. He fields it. The high throw reeled in at first by Putz, and the inning is over. But on a crazy play, Falmouth able to knot things up. We're tied 1-1 going into the 6th inning from Gov Fuller Field. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Top of the 6th, Mariners and Commodores tied at 1 apiece. Colin Casey alongside Tim Foley on this Wednesday night. Not a cloud in the sky as the sun begins to set here in Falmouth. One of the furthest trips we make from Harwich on the season. And the last trip we'll make out west till potentially the CCBL Championship Series. First pitch to Dylan Phillips is over for a strike. Phillips has reached base on a walk each of his 2 plate appearances, both to lead off the inning. And here he swings away and sends one high in the air down the right field line, crossing into foul territory. The second baseman, Bichetti, comes over and is able to make the catch for out number 1.
Unfortunate quick first out. If you're Harwich, you want to try to get some momentum back after allowing a wonky run to come across, but instead you have a guy in Phillips who had gotten on twice, flying out in foul territory.
Here's Putz. Flew out and struck out his first 2 trips. Anthony DeFabia on for his 2nd inning of work, and he gets Putz to foul one back into the parking lot.
I'd like to remind fans not to go in the police parking lot to get foul balls. Thank you.
Commodores right in the thick of things out west as Putz fouls another one off. Coming in right now in 3rd, they're only 1 point behind Katuitt in the standings. Of course, looking at it though from the perspective of how the standings are done this year, they're actually in 2nd. So if the playoffs were to start today, they would be in facing Bourne in the Western Division Championship at .97 points per game, a full 1/10 of a point ahead of Wareham, but Katuitt right now at .90 points per game. I just can't wait till next year, Tim, where we don't have to worry about points per game, hopefully.
Ideally, it would be nice. Get the All-Star game back as well. Even
0-2 misses down and away.
Even still, it's such a pleasure to be able to say that we've had Cape Cod baseball this summer on the Cape. I mean, it was missed by so many. In talking to locals, it really is something that is so greatly appreciated.
1-2 misses up and away, and really a lot of great storylines throughout this Cape League season as well. The historic season from the Bourne Braves, that outstanding start that we saw from them. Some great pitching performances up and down the season. Of course, Trey Dombrowski responsible for a number of them, as well as Evan Shawver for the Harwich Mariners. Count now full to Putz. We've seen some crazy walk-off finishes as well throughout the season. Of course, the Bourne Braves responsible for a number of them.
I was going to say, probably about half of them. It seems like every game they're coming back in the 9th.
Hard ground ball on the left side by Putz. Hartford, who's been busy tonight, throws on to first. 2 up, 2 down to begin the inning. Harwich trying to avoid another 1-2-3 inning. This would be their first since the first inning.
Yeah, it's been a lot of aggressiveness, it feels. And, you know, for Harwich, they've been walked 3 times already, but they're swinging at a lot. And they're not getting a whole lot out of it when it comes to hits. They're grounding out a lot to the infielders here early on in this game, or now more than midway through, I should say.
Jordan Beck, he's 1 for 2 at a double and was robbed of what could have been extra bases on a diving catch out and right by Jace Borfin. Count even 1-1 to the Tennessee Volunteer. Still no Chris Newell in the lineup for the Mariners. Remember, he was a late scratch in yesterday's game, but not on the lineup card today. So you wonder if a return is imminent or if he suffered a potential setback as the 1-1 fouled off the catcher.
It's a third bat you really want to get back, or just a bat in general. Third bat in the sense of how we've talked about these 2 leadoff guys for Harwich. Chris Newell, another guy who's batted in that leadoff position and has had plenty of success. You know, a guy with speed and great contact hitter, great power hitter as well, though, Newell.
Be a huge return if the Mariners can get it. Count even 2-2. 4 home runs on the season for Newell, including some clutch ones. A game-tying home run at White House Field against the Orleans Firebirds that got the Mariners a tie. 2-2 swung on and missed. Beck goes down swinging, and the inning is over. A 1-2-3-6 for Anthony DeFabia and the Falmouth Commodores. They look to break the 1-1 tie in the bottom half. When we come back, you're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Top of the order due up for Falmouth here in the bottom of inning number 6, a 1-1 ball game. Mariners jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the third, but Falmouth able to bring one home last inning, and now a great opportunity for the Commodores to break that tie against Trey Dombrowski, who has yet to give up an earned run in this game. That one run that came home unearned as first pitch to Cody Colden misses inside, but it was unearned not because the runner that reached base reached on an error, but because there was a fielder's choice that put another runner on base. As that ball tagged out to center field, sending Beck back. He's got a little bit of room, makes the catch. It's a deep out number 1 for Colden.
Yeah, and beyond the difficulties that the 5th inning brought here for Dombrowski, he's really looked good. I mean, the 2nd and 3rd innings, he did give up leadoff guys to get on base with a walk and a double, but he bounced back, and in each the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th innings, he recorded 3 straight outs, despite letting the leadoff guy on twice.
Very impressive stuff. Casey Horford watches ball 1. He is 0 for 2, a fly out and a pop out so far. Try to get on top of one here against Dombrowski. And he lines one right up the middle into center field for a base hit. So 1-out single for Horford. And that is hit number 3 of the game for the Falmouth Commodores.
Now batting the right fielder, number 6.
I mean, that's a good at-bat from Hartford. Able to square one up quickly. Doesn't want to let Dombrowski get too comfortable in the at-bat. Doesn't want to fall behind, certainly, at the plate. And so is aggressive early on, and it pays off for him.
The shortstop Hartford standing on first base, and Jace Borfin, a big power threat in this Commodores lineup, digs in. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Borfin also up there in batting average coming into this game. He sat 6th at .308. So definitely the most reliable bat in the Commodores lineup. Dombrowski from the stretch, and the 1-0 is tagged out to left field. It'll hang up plenty. Dylan Phillips started out but comes back in, makes the catch, and that'll send Casey Hartford back to first base with 2 down. Chris Armstrong looking to keep things alive. He has reached base once in 2 trips, a walk in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 4th.
It's been another quick inning so far here for Dombrowski, despite there already being 2 outs and a guy on first.
They're really not fazed by runners, it seems, but here Armstrong rips one into left field for a 2-out single. That one hit really hard out in the left on a line. And so the Commodores put the go-ahead run on second base with 2 down.
Number 14, Taylor Smith.
And this is the first time that Falmouth has really been able to string together good offense, in a clean fashion, regardless of what has happened in the 5th inning.
Taylor Smith looking to get back on the right track tonight. He is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts looking against Trey Dombrowski. Bullpen still inactive. So Dombrowski is the guy for the foreseeable future, and again, I don't see why not. One unearned run given up, and pitching an efficient ball game thus far. Lefty for Monmouth comes set, and the first pitch hit on the ground right back towards us. Like Tim would have made a play on that had it not been for the chain link fence.
I was ready for it. I know I did not flinch. I got my hand out instinctively. I would have had that.
Long look in from Dombrowski. A look at second, now the pitch. And he gets Smith way out in front of one. Ahead in the count 0-2. Taylor Smith, the Austin, Texas native, attending Texas A&M. He's launched 5 home runs on the season, so he is a power threat. But right now, a base hit will get the job done, with Harford standing on second. 0-2. Dombrowski tries to get him with a breaking ball, but it misses outside.
You know, if you're Dombrowski here, you have a lot of choices now. You're ahead 0-2 in the count, but we've seen this before where he was ahead in the count and then ended up loading up the count full. So got to be careful with pitch placement. Don't want to toy around with the guy too much.
1-2, called strike 3 on the outside corner. Smith can't believe it. He goes down looking for the 3rd time this game, and Trey Dombrowski is able to get out of the 2-out jam. Commodores leave a pair on base. This game stays tied 1-1 as we head to the 7th. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.
Restaurant and pub. One round trip ticket from Hyannis.
Welcome back to Go Fuller Field. Fans, for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. And now for the final 3 innings of play-by-play, the most famous graduate from Natick High School, Tim Foley. Tim?
Not too sure about that one, as Doug Flutie might have some other things to say about that. Nonetheless, appreciate the compliment, Colin Casey, as always. So for the Mariners, it'll be the 7, 8, 9 batters due up. Zach Preisner, Max Codier, and Jake Lazaro each due up. And so far in this game, I mean, it's been about what we've expected from Trey Dombrowski. So far for him, 72 pitches through 6 complete innings so far. It's been an excellent outing for him, right about that same clip that we saw him earlier in the season, where he threw about 85 across 7 innings pitched. As the first pitch here to Zach Preisner misses down low for a ball. But for the other side of things, I mean, we were unsure as to how this pitching matchup was going to go for Falmouth. You had a guy in Alex Price who hasn't pitched in over a month, making his second debut, if you will, after being re-signed by the team. He comes out and has a relatively solid 4 innings. And then DeFabia here, he has also looked excellent for Falmouth through 2 innings, although Zach Preisner rips this ball out to left field. You can kiss it goodbye. Zach Preisner, solo shot out to left field, puts the Mariners ahead 2-1 in the top of the 7th inning.
Someone call the fire department. Zach Preisner, every single at-bat, He just looks better and better, and this time he puts a charge into one, was not fooled on that pitch, and drives it out of Gov Fuller Field. Talk about a momentum shifter. This one really took the wind out of the Commodore sails.
It certainly did, and you just can't help but be impressed by the way Zach Preisner has been able to swing the bat recently. As first pitch to the new batter in Max Codier is a swinging strike one. Second pitch into Codier, a called strike two. So for Preisner on the season. That is home run number 2.
Yeah, both coming against Western teams. The first one against Bourne at White House Field.
0-2 pitch, a big swing from Codier, but it's dropped by Smith. Throw down to the bag is in time to record the out. One away.
Good job there from Smith not panicking. He lost sight of the ball quickly. It only got about 3 feet away from him. Turned around, found it, made a great throw just over the shoulder of Codier, and a much-needed bounce-back strikeout for Anthony DeFabio.
It's a good bounce-back strikeout, as you said, Colin. Nonetheless, the damage has already been done by these Mariners in this inning. Preisner putting them up by 1 as we are in the final third of this game. A big cut from Jake Lazaro opens up the count at 0-1. Second pitch is in for a called strike. Count now 0-2.
We'll have to go back and check and see over the last 10 games or so, but you'd have to believe that Preisner's way up there in batting average.
Ball misses up high. Count now 1-2. Actually, I have that for you here, Colin. Across his last 10 games, Zach Preisner batting a cool .367 as Jake Lazaro fouls one off over the Mariners' dugout. .367 over his last 10. That includes going 11 for 30 with a home run prior to this game, 5 RBI and 6 runs. It's a 1-2 count to Lazaro. Called strike 3. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Anthony DeFabio.
And if you want to look at it more specifically, over the last week, over the last 7 days, coming into this game, Preisner hitting .450. 9 for his last 20. Had a pair of doubles. Now you can add a third double and a home run from tonight's game. Just outstanding stuff from the shortstop from Notre Dame.
He has been doing a lot recently for Harwich at the plate. First pitch to the new batter, Impress Kavanaugh, another guy who has been hitting well for Harwich and misses for a ball. Kavanaugh so far on the night, 1 for 2 with a ground out double and a walk in his last at-bat.
One last thing on Preisner that shouldn't be overlooked. He's also drawn 4 walks in the last week, which is something he's struggled with, his discipline.
It's a 1-1 count now to Press Kavanaugh. Preisner on the season, 29 strikeouts. That is second most on the team coming into today. But as you mentioned, Colin, increasing his strikeout to walk ratio. And you see that a lot with guys. They will improve in a lot of aspects as Kavanaugh hits one through the right side. 2-out single for the UNCG product.
Here's a guy who's just been hot, it seems like all season long. Kavanaugh reaching base for the 3rd time. Hard hit ground ball through the right side, and Mariners, a little insurance isn't going to hurt anybody, especially when you know Trey Dombrowski isn't going to pitch in this game forever.
Certainly not. You want to be able to set your pitchers up as best as possible. As Tatum Levens lunges at the first pitch he sees with a bunt and sends it well over the backstop.
It's interesting, a 2-out bunt attempt for a hit. Levens does have the speed to leg it out, maybe just trying to catch the left side of the infield napping.
Levens steps back in. So far, 1 for 2 on the day. Reached on a fielder's choice in his last at-bat as well. Time called. The 0-1. Ball skips in the dirt. Press Kavanaugh goes down to second. Throw to the bag. Not in time. Kavanaugh able to steal second safely with 2 outs.
A delayed jump there from Kavanaugh. It looked like he started and stopped and then started again. Just able to get in there as Smith skipped the throw. Great dive from Kavanaugh and is able to pick up a stolen base and get in scoring position.
For Kavanaugh, that is his 7th stolen base on the season. He's only been caught twice. And this will spur a conversation between DeFabia and Smith on the mound. Very brief conversation. Smith already heading back as they decide what they are going to try to do here with Tatum Levens. It's a 1-1 count. Zach Preisner opened up the inning with a solo shot to left field. There's back-to-back strikeouts on Max Codier and Jake Lazaro. For Kavanaugh singled and stole second. And Levens, he's able to hit this one up the middle. Kavanaugh's going to round third. He's digging for home. He'll get there safe. It's now 3-1 Mariners. Tatum Levens, an RBI single, put this to a 2-run game.
Second time Levens has been able to drive in Kavanaugh tonight. He did it in the 3rd inning, and this time just hits it right back the way it came. Kavanaugh running on contact with 2 away. That just proves how big that steal was for Tim, because he's not scoring from first on a single to center like that. So a huge steal, an aggressive move from the Mariners, and it pays off.
So it's now a 3-1 lead. Tatum Levens standing on first for Brock Wilken. Reached on a fielder's choice in his last at-bat. First pitch is a called strike. Right about top of the zone at 85 miles an hour. It's an 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. That one's just going to miss outside. Count now 1-1.
Been a little bit of a rough last half dozen at-bats for Brock Wilken. He's 0 for his last 6. Had a single in the first inning of last night's game, but since then hasn't been able to reach base.
Throw over to the bag to check on Tatum Levens. Count still 1-1 here. Wilken, a guy who's tough to keep down for long. Gets a piece of one off the end of the bat. Just rolling down that first base line. Flip from DeFabia down to first base is in time to record the out. But solo shot from Zach Preisner and an RBI single from Tatum Levens gives the Mariners 2 more runs. They now lead it 3-1 heading into the bottom of the 7th inning. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back into Gov Fuller Field here in Falmouth. Mariners now holding on to a 3-1 lead thanks to some offense from Zach Preisner and Tatum Levens driving around Press Kavanaugh. First pitch to Anthony Hall is in for a called strike 1.
That really takes the pressure off Trey Dombrowski. He can go out there and just cruise through a 7th inning.
As Hall did not offer on the 0-1 pitch in the dirt count here, 1-1. So this is the 7th inning of work here for Trey Dombrowski. He has pitched 7 complete innings only once so far this season for the Mariners. A big swing and a miss there from Anthony Hall. Count now 1-2. Last time he went 7 complete innings pitched. It was on July 8th against YD. Pitched 7 innings, gave up 3 runs, 2 hits. Or 3 runs, 2 of them were earned, rather, as a 1-hopper to Codier at second. Throw on to first is in time. 1 away in the bottom of the 7th inning. So once again, that stat line for Dombrowski. 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 6 hits, and 1 walk with 9 strikeouts. So it was that last time that Dombrowski gave up a walk that he actually had his lengthiest outing of the season. And here he is again. He's given up just his 2nd walk of the season today, but working on his 2nd outing of 7 innings as Michael Handel tries to lay down the bunt to open up his at-bat. It's fouled back, 0-1.
And for Dombrowski, he's got 6 strikeouts, which is honestly on the lower end of the starts we've seen. I mean, I think 7's the lowest he's had in a start so far.
7 is the lowest he's had in a start so far, as a called strike 2. Lowest he has had all season was 3 strikeouts in an 2-inning outing against Hyannis back on June 23rd. 0-2 pitch fouled off. Count stays 0-2.
That was his first outing. At the time, we were impressed with what we saw. We didn't realize it would transform into him being the ace of this pitching staff.
Certainly did not realize it at the time. 0-2 pitch. Just missing outside of the zone count. 1-2.
He's a guy that you want to see go in a must-win playoff game along with Eric Raiselman. Those are your top 2 dogs right now.
1-2, strike 3, swinging. Down goes Handel. 7th strikeout of the day for Trey Dombrowski. This will bring up Michael Curiali. And if you're Dombrowski right now, that is pitch number 81 for Dombrowski. So he is right about that clip he had on that outing against YD. This ball rocketed fair, just skips over the third base bag. Phillips bobbles it in left field, and it's a 2-out double for Michael Curiali on the first pitch he sees.
He's had quite the night, 3 for 3 quietly, and he drove in that 1 run that came across when Handel came in when he got caught in the rundown. But he's been tearing the cover off the ball. 3 hits all down the left field line, giving his team a chance here with 2 down in the 7th.
He is responsible for 3 of the 5 Falmouth hits so far in this game. This brings up Michael Pacetti, 0 for 2 so far today. Flew out to second and grounded out to third in each of his at-bats. Warming in the bullpen for the Mariners, the righty out of Notre Dame, Liam Simon.
And talk about a big change that's going to be. Dombrowski, a guy who gets it done really with the finesse. Simon comes at you with straight power in that fastball.
0-1 pitch. This one's popped up out to right. Should be playable for Kavanaugh. Settles underneath it, makes the catch, and the inning is over. So it's 7 complete innings for Trey Dombrowski on 84 pitches. Likely the end of the day for him. We'll see once we come back. We'll move now to the top of the 8th inning. Mariners leading it 3-1. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field, top of the 8th inning. From Falmouth, Massachusetts, Dylan Phillips, the leadoff guy for the 4th time in this game. He has led off innings 4 times in the 2nd, the 4th, the 6th, and now the 8th. And in this leadoff spot for him, he has walked twice and flown out to the second baseman, Mike Bacchetti, in foul territory. It's a 1-0 count to him. A big cut upstairs, 1-1 count.
I just calculated during the break, Tim, the current ERA for Trey Dombrowski. If he doesn't go back out there, he will leave tonight with a .85 earned run average.
Absolutely ridiculous for the Monmouth product, as it's a called strike too. And really unsurprising, though, given what we've been witnessing all season long. He looks like a guy who deserves that kind of ERA with the way he's been able to control his stuff. It's a 1-2 count. That ball skips off of Phillips. Went off the end of his bat, or the hands of his bat nearly. Count stays 1-2. A new pitcher on the mound for the Commodores. It is Lucas Gordon, who is now the pitcher.
Got some huge breaking news in Major League Baseball that we'll talk about as the pitch misses, but Joey Gallo has just been traded, but according to this rumor, to the New York Yankees. Talk about a big move from Brian Cashman in a Yankees team that's struggling to stay in the playoff race.
And that is a big move. 3-2 count now, as, of course, with baseball, you can always afford to bring in those guys if you're a bigger market team, such as the Yankees. Should be interesting to see how the Major League season plays out. Full count pitch. That's going to miss outside, so for the 3rd time today, Dylan Phillips leads off with a walk. Each of the times he's gotten on with a walk, he's gotten as far as 3rd. We'll see if that trend in and of itself continues.
That's great to see. That's the best way to come back from a 3-strikeout game, Tim. Draw 3 walks, and, well, he's not going to get an opportunity because Phillips is being lifted for a pinch runner. In to run for him is Josh Hood.
From the University of Pennsylvania, number 3, Josh Hood.
So they introduce Josh Hood. He now enters for Phillips. We will likely see Josh Hood out in left as well.
Yeah, Phillips had a bit of a rough game defensively out there in left, too, so I think it's a big upgrade for a guy like Hood, who is so good at so many positions defensively.
Great utility guy, and Harwich, if you're Harwich at this point, you're looking to maintain the lead you have. Phillips, he's excellent offensively, but it's about being able to lock it down at this point. Carter Putz now steps in. 1-0 pitch, fouled back to the backstop. Count goes to 1-1.
A good opportunity for Putz to get out of this tough stretch he's been in. 0 for 3 tonight.
Does have a strikeout in there as well. The last strikeout victim of Alex Price. 1-1 pitch. This ball is going to be popped up. Casey Harford underneath of that short makes the catch. 1 away in the 8th.
Good for Gordon to bounce back there and get a pop-up on Carter Putz. And now all of a sudden with 1 away, a ground ball could get you out of this inning. And Falmouth very much still in this ball game. Obviously, Trey Dombrowski's been outstanding, but looks like Simon's going to pitch the 8th, and anything can happen. We've seen the Commodores win some crazy games against the Mariners here, and at the very least, put some pressure on them in the late innings.
So now Jordan Beck comes up to bat. 1 for 3 so far today. Had that double back in the 2nd inning. And an unfortunate line out to right on a nice catch from Jace Borfin back in the 4th. For Gordon on the mound, this is his 6th appearance for the Commodores. Pitched most recently, actually getting credited with the win against Chatham back on July 25th. Pickoff attempt down to first from Smith, not in time. Hood dives back safely.
A couple updates from out-of-town scores. The Wareham Gatemen with a 2-0 lead over the Brewster Whitecaps at Spillane Field. That's good news for the Mariners. Also good news for them. Chatham Anglers up 4-2 on the hard-charging Orleans Firebirds.
Plenty of time left in the season for really any team in the East to make a charge at anything. So if you're Harwich, as this bunt's laid down by Beck, throw down to first, not in time. Chris Armstrong pulled off the bag as the throw was made down to the bag, so he'll be safe on first, and Josh Hood moves up 90 feet to second.
What an excellent bunt by Jordan Beck. Obviously known for his power, but you can't forget about how fast he is. He covers a lot of ground out in center field, and he lays down a perfect bunt. Tough play for Curielli at third. The throw was decent, but Armstrong had to stretch really far and couldn't hang on to it. It's going to be ruled a bunt single, the second hit of the game for Beck.
Some excellent situational decisions here for Harwich, deciding to lay the bunt down, move the guy along, and it pays off. You're able to get him on base. So now in steps the hot bat and Zach Preisner. 2 for 3 day and a solo shot last inning to open up the 7th and put Harwich on top. Right now, that's the go-ahead run. Press Kavanaugh also came home to score to extend that Harwich lead to 2. It's an 0-1 count here to Preisner. Will rocket this one at the shortstop. Gets through the glove of Harford. Hood's going to come home to score. Standing on third is Jordan Beck and Zach Preisner. Now standing on first. That is going to be an error charged to the shortstop, and Casey Harford was a routine ground ball that slipped underneath his glove. So an unearned run to be charged to Lucas Gordon, and the Mariners now leading it 4-1.
Yeah, really tough night out there at short for Casey Harford. Remember, he had that play with Tatum Levens at the plate. Hard hit ground ball, unable to come up with it. This one just goes right through the wickets, and huge insurance run that you hate to give up on the back of an error.
This is a pretty hard hit ball by Preisner. Can sometimes be tough to get a read on those. So now in steps Max Codier. Codier, despite the success he's had over the past week or so for Harwich, struggling at the plate so far today. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Fouls off the 1-0 pitch. Count goes to 1-1. Lucas Gordon looking for the second out of the inning. Thought he had it in the ground out to Preisner. This ball fouled back by Codier. Count 1-2.
It's got to be an endless supply of baseballs in those woods down the left field line. I mean, think about how many left-handers poke one straight back and they just disappear into the forest.
Not sure how that affects the property prices in the area. Your touring house looks nice. Oh, and don't mind the stray foul ball that comes through the sunroof. 2-2 count now here to Max Codier.
Played at a field in Ludlow, Massachusetts when I was growing up, where right behind the backstop there was woods, and we would go through a good 10 to 15 baseballs every game. It was incredible how many went straight over the backstop and just disappeared.
It can be tricky, especially because baseballs are not cheap. 2-2 pitch misses outside. It's a good take from Max Codier. Count now full.
See if Codier can finally break through with runners in scoring position. It seems like every time he comes to the plate, Tim, tonight, he's got an opportunity to drive in a run. And lately he has been, but not the case right now tonight, but he gets another great chance with a runner at third.
He'll take ball 4 outside. That's the second walk of the inning from Lucas Gordon. And this will bring up Jake Lazaro in just a moment.
Number 7, Jake Lazaro.
Not quite. Not so fast.
Now allow me to hold my horses. It will be Brendan Tinsman coming into bat here for the Mariners. Lazaro was working on an 0 for 3 day. 2 strikeouts and a ground out to the pitcher. So the Mariners will look to bring in another bat. Try to generate some offense that way. It was a late decision to bring in Tinsman because Lazaro was standing in front of the protective netting they have for the Bat Boys here, taking his reps during the previous at-bat for Codier. But very last moment, you have Brendan Tinsman now coming up.
Looks like a matchup move, too, with a left-hander on the mound, Tinsman, the right-handed bat, and a guy that gets on base at a ridiculous clip. Just who you want to really put this game out of reach with a 3-run lead and the bases loaded.
So the bases are loaded. Jordan Beck at third, Zach Breisner at second, Max Codier at first, and swinging at the first pitch is Tinsman.
Can't forget about the power that Tinsman has. Of course, that 10-home run freshman year he had. Power numbers tailed off a little bit at Wake Forest, but he still can send one over the fence at a moment's notice.
Ball fouled back to the backstop, so Tinsman behind the count here, 0-2 rather quickly. The pitch. That's in for called strike 3. Tinsman could do nothing but just look at that one as it sailed across the plate. This will bring up Press Kavanaugh.
Monumental strikeout from Gordon, bouncing back after 3 straight runners reaching base. Obviously the error throwing a monkey wrench into this inning for him, but he's only given up 1 so far, and again an unearned run that he's allowed. And he can get out of this inning with minimal damage. Falmouth still has a chance with 2 innings to go. Game still a save situation.
Kavanaugh so far today, 2 for 3. Fouls off the first pitch he sees into the Commodore dugout. Singled in his last at-bat, ended up coming all the way around to score. In fact, he's come around to score twice so far in this game.
Yeah, a guy who doesn't strike out a lot, just who you want in a situation with the bases loaded and 2 away.
0-1 pitch misses up high. Count now 1-1.
Especially over the last couple of weeks, we've rarely seen him strike out. Everything's getting put in play with Press Kavanaugh. Had one the other night to end the game, but outside of that, not too often.
1-1 pitch floated just on the outside, missing. Count now 2-1. You're right, Colin. We really don't see all that many strikeouts from a guy like Kavanaugh. Excellent discipline. He'll take walks, and if it's over the plate, if it's going to be called a strike, he's going to be putting it in play. 2-1 pitch misses up high, 3-1, and that's exactly it just there. That was a pitch that was just above the zone, and Kavanaugh having the instincts to check his swing on that one. Really a good check there, keeping his swing well intact. 3-1 pitch. That does go over the plate, called strike 2.
Yeah, not surprised to see him have the take sign. 3-1 count, 2 away. See if you can get an easy one drawing the walk. Now all of a sudden, with a full count, the runners get a head start. So a ball in the gap, and your lead balloons from 3 to 6.
Full count pitch. Runners go. Kavanaugh skies one. Curiali settles underneath it, makes the catch, and ends the inning. So we now head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Harwich does tack on another run. Josh Hood comes around to score on a Jordan Beck single. We now move to the, pardon, on the error that brought Zach